Jewel, and this is GRTS News, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Coming up in the next 1 hour, the Gambia government sets up a broad-based commission of inquiry into Aki deaths as President Barrow summons an emergency cabinet meeting to tackle the outbreak of acute kidney injury in the Gambia. His Excellency President Adama Barrow receives the Executive Committee of the Gambia Football Federation, led by its President Lamin Kaba Bajo at State House. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, through the World Bank-funded Giraffe Project, hands over 50 motorcycles and office stationery to the Department of Agriculture. And the first batch of tourists jet into destination Gambia as officials welcome a new holiday season and a winter break on the Smiling Coast. Away from home, Tanzania says no to genetically modified crops due to health and safety concerns. Plus, UK's Prime Minister Liz Truss says our government will take a U-turn and raise corporation tax. Well, viewers, these and other stories coming ahead in the next 1 hour. I am Esaso. Thanks for joining us. Well, it is great to have you, and we begin with the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, who summoned an emergency cabinet meeting on the Aki deaths in the Gambia. The Gambian leader said the recent acute kidney injury, Aki outbreak in the country, is a challenging time for the government, families, and the people, and called on all to close ranks and work together to come out of the crisis better prepared. He made the call during an emergency cabinet meeting he summoned on Thursday, October 13th, for an update on the 66 plus Aki deaths associated with contaminated Indian-made syrups imported into the Gambia in June this year. According to updates, as of 13th October 2022, the number of Aki deaths related cases has risen to 70, and all may be linked to the use of the contaminated drugs. The President was emphatic that his government is determined to unearth the details of the case, as the children died in unusual circumstances. Accordingly, a directive was issued to open criminal investigations. The ongoing police investigations have established the importer, licensee, and the quantity of drugs imported in June 2022. Atlantic Pharmaceutical Company Limited brought into the country a consignment of 50,000 units of medicinal syrups, of which health authorities recalled over 41,000. However, 8,000 units are still unaccounted for. The probe established that the Medicine Control Agency, MCA, was established by the Medicines and Related Products Act of 2014. At the time it started product registration in 2017, there were thousands of unregistered products in the country. This was due to a lack of testing facility in the Gambia and the exorbitant cost involved in outsourcing the testing. However, Cabinet was informed that the World Bank has agreed to establish a medicines and drugs testing facility in the Gambia. Furthermore, there is an ongoing international medical investigation in collaboration with the World Health Organization, WHO, and the Center for Disease Control of the United States of America and Africa, looking into the medical causes of Aki deaths among children in the Gambia and related medical matters. Having received an in-depth briefing on the Aki death cases, Cabinet concluded by setting up a broad-based commission of inquiry whose terms of reference and composition will be gazetted shortly. Let's stay with the President, who granted audience to executive members of the Gambia Football Federation, led by its President Lamin Kaba Bajo, on Friday at a State House. The GFF executive was at the presidency to renew and reaffirm their commitment to work with government to advance football and its development in the Gambia. The meeting comes after Mr. Bajo and team secured another 4-year mandate to run the affairs of football in the country. Mamadou Jallo picks up the rest of that story.
Newly elected Gambia Football Federation, led by its head Lamin Kaba Bajo, met the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, to discuss football-related issues. The meeting comes barely a month after Mr. Bajo secured another 4-year mandate to steer the affairs of football in the Gambia. President Barrow is the chief patron of the Gambia Football Federation. And for Mr. Kaba Bajo, this meeting provides the platform to seek the support of the president as he begins another term.
President of the Republic is the chief patron of the Gambia Football Federation. This has been since time immemorial. And then after we do have occasional consultations when the need arises. This way, anytime we have we make requests, it's granted. Ceremonies are held here with the federation. But after renewal of a mandate by the stakeholders for another term of 4 years, it's customary that we call on the president to introduce ourselves to him, the new team, and also to seek his blessing, and then also to take the word of command from him. He will ask us to go and start your job in earnest.
Gambian football has seen some form of a renaissance in the last year, with the team qualifying for its maiden AFCON finals. This, Mr. Bajo argues, is a cause for optimism, attributing the successes to the support of the government, both financially and morally.
Gambia has participated in its first AFCON since we had affiliated to CAF and FIFA. This was this year, and this just didn't drop from the sky. It was after a lot of efforts, a lot of team building, a lot of institutional and technical reforms and building, strengthening, and above all also a lot of preparation for the team in terms of training camps. And training camps were held very difficult circumstances when COVID was big, where air transportation was very difficult. We were able to convince government to consider and funding the chartering of private jets to ferry our flyers from one place to the other. This has not been easy. And we also improved the hotel accommodation of players wherever we go. And now we are not going anything less than a 5-star hotel. The allowance structures and the bonuses are also improved. And these are monies that are provided by the government.
GFF president therefore used the opportunity to thank the president and government for its commitment to develop football in the Gambia, adding that the country now has the means and pedigree to compete at the highest level. He touted sport, particularly football, as a major source of income for young people, saying that the GFF is working with all stakeholders to transform the National League.
I think we also informed him of our intention to introduce a professional league, because our league is still amateur. A professional league means every player will be on contract, every month you are sort of a salary. Now, some of them play just because they want to play. If they get something, they only get fair return. Some of them come and train and run affairs. But you are contracted, you have a fixed salary, that has to go in line with government minimum salary. And then all the other people who are involved in it, the technicians, coaches, referees, my commissioners, all of them will be at least professionally handled. So if you look at the number of teams that we have, even if you start with 10 clubs, each of them will have at least 60 to 100 people on their payroll. And these are we are taking, we're talking about 600 to 1,000 young people or people who would have been on the unemployment category.
Mr. Bajo vowed to continue work on these and other projects in sports development, revealing that the Gambia now has nearly 200 professional footballers playing in leagues around the world. Modu Jallo, JRTS News.
The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, through the World Bank, funded Gambia Inclusive and Resilient Agricultural Value Chain Development Project, known as GIRAF, on Friday officially handed over 50 motorcycles, weighing scales and office stationery to the Department of Agriculture. Our reporter Omar P. Jallo witnessed the handing over ceremony and filed in this report.
Forms part of the World Bank's ongoing contributions to initiatives aimed at accelerating the transformation of the Gambia's agro-food systems to make them more inclusive, resilient, productive, competitive, and sustainable. It will complement the work of the agriculture and nutrition security-related projects in the country as part of an integrated approach to stimulate socio-economic growth. In his welcoming remarks, the coordinator of the Central Projects Coordinating Unit, Abdoulaye Toure, reveals that since its national launching in August this year, the GIRAF project, whose development objective is to promote the development of inclusive, resilient, and competitive agriculture value chains, focusing on smallholder farmers and agro-businesses, has provided significant assistance to farmers and key partners, particularly the Department of Agriculture.
The GIRAF project also, which is designed to be well attuned with all the policies within the Ministry of Agriculture, including the extension policy, the GNI policy, the NR policy, and all the strategies. Take it about itself to invest some resources to implement that part of the extension policy, which is the e-extension.
Delivering the official handing over statement, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali, said these motorcycles are procured with an aim of supporting the extension service of the Department of Agriculture to facilitate their extension delivery as well as undertake routine and effective monitoring of the project activities. Minister Sabali challenged the Department of Agriculture and stakeholders to remain committed to the project development objective and to put the materials to good use.
Agricultural productivity has remained low in recent years, as producers have had little access to technology, inputs, and advice support, especially for transfer for adaptation of productivity enhancing and climate-smart technologies. This will be needed to increase rapidly, to increase our food security, especially in the recent challenges.
The Director General of the Department of Agriculture, Dr. Sekou Isanyang, thanked the Giraffe Project for the support and assures the judicious use of the materials to serve the needs of the project through to its closure.
As earlier mentioned, we have the extension policy, and one of the key recommended point in that extension policy is the e-extension. And now we want to start that implementing that recommendation. Now we want to reduce the use of papers here and there. This is why Giraffe thought it wise to come up with this brilliant initiative by providing tablets for extension workers.
In June this year, the Giraffe Project procured and distributed an assortment of 250 metric tons of certified rice and maize seeds to more than 12,500 smallholder farmers across the country, in order to effectively identify and track the progressive evolution of the effects of the quality seed provided. The Giraffe Project procured and distributed to the Department of Agriculture Extension agents 100 tablets to facilitate digital registration of the farmers supported from across the country. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
The Gambia joins the international community to commemorate World Standards Day on the theme, Our Shared Vision for a Better World. The day is observed on the 14th of October each year to celebrate multilateral efforts towards sustainable standardization. On the occasion, on Friday, the Ministry of Trade and the Gambia Standards Bureau renewed their commitment to promote global standards for economic growth and environmental sustainability. Dado Cham tells us more.
Set aside to pay tribute to the thousands of experts and multilateral efforts collaborating within the international standard-setting organization to develop voluntary international efforts. Abdullah Jammeh, Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Trade, said, standard facilitate trade, spread knowledge, and disseminate technological advances. Mr. Jammeh said the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are aimed at addressing poverty challenges to enhance economic growth and environmental sustainability.
Taken as a whole, they recognize that ending poverty must go hand in hand with strategies that build economic growth and addresses a range of social needs, including education, health, social protection, job opportunities, while tackling climate change and environmental protection.
Officials seek to harness concerned actions in the mission to achieve sustainable development goals and build back better according to individual and national realities affecting growth.
It is generally recognized that for the SDGs to achieve their stated objectives within the stipulated time frame, we need to use all available tools, including international standards and conformity assessment. This is simple to digest, given that the success of the SDGs is grounded on consensus, collaboration, and innovation, and these are the very foundations on which international standards are based.
This year marks the Standards Bureau's 11th anniversary and the 11th multi-year celebration of World Standards Day at the national level in partnership with the international standardizations community.
As in previous years, the Bureau marks the day with a series of activities to promote standards, create awareness, and improve the public quality culture, and undertake joint programs with stakeholders. Of particular focus will be the promotion of selected key standards on each of the 17 SDGs.
The Gambia Standards Bureau was established by the government of the Gambia through an Act of Parliament in 2010. The Bureau itself began operation in October 2011 with a mandate to standardize goods, services, and systems in accordance with international recognized procedure to enhance industrial growth and efficiencies, facilitating trade as well as health and environmental protection. For GRCS News, I am Dada Cham.
The Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency GAIPA and partners on Friday officially launched the Gambia-Nigeria Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Exhibition. The trade fair, which is aimed at promoting economic cooperation between Nigeria and the Gambia, is underway at the trade fair grounds in Bruceville. As Rohibite tells us, the 9-day exhibition is hosting both Nigerian and Gambian-made products to facilitate trade cooperation.
Of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war has intensified the call for intra-African trade so as to diversify and encourage economic cooperation within the continent. The Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises exhibition, currently hosted in the Gambia, is on that drive to boost trade cooperation.
This 9-day exhibition is envisioned to foster more economic ties between our two countries and explore greater possibilities of creating synergy between businesses of both nations.
If we must collectively realize the objective and reap the benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Area, then we must first enhance trade within the West African sub-region. Charity, they say, begins at home.
Organized by GAIPA with funding and support from its Nigerian counterpart, Smedan, this exhibition, it is hoped, will look beyond the showcasing of products, but opening doors for other opportunities.
As per our functions, GAIPA shall continue to promote the creation of a conducive business environment to spur investment and export-led growth and support the development of sustainable local enterprises in order to build their capacity to effectively contribute to employment, economic growth, and wealth creation.
It's generally known that the sector, especially in the West African sub-region, is faced with several challenges that have not allowed them to be competitive in the global market. The post-COVID era has even made the competition within the MSME space more intense.
Trade partnership between Nigeria and Gambia has the potential to boost the economies of both nations, and this exhibition seeks to strengthen the entrepreneurs of the two countries.
The essence is to give opportunity to Gambian investors to invest in Nigeria and the Nigerian investors to invest in the Gambia. Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million, remains the largest economy and the largest market in Africa.
What the Gambia wants is to partner with Nigeria, move us from low-income economy to a middle-income economy. You can do this in 10 years. You have millions of holidays, then you're spending hundreds and millions of dollars outside Africa. Why don't you come to the Gambia and other parts of and spend your holidays and enrich this part so that you can sell your goods that we can buy?
Africa has no business being poor. Those were the words of Ambassador Bolaji Akiremi, Director of Trade, Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
High time we consume what we produce as Africans and produce what we consume. No other continent will come and develop our continent for us or sincerely trade with Africa.
On his first official duty as Trade Minister, Babukar Juf, deputizing for His Excellency the Vice President, called on the players in the sector to maximize on the signed treaties and protocols between the two countries for actionable investment.
This opportunity will test the international market for their products and services, as well as reinforce the economic relations between business operators and counterpart agencies in both countries for effective and profitable participation in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
And a team of True Planet from Nigeria and Abdullahi Khalil from the joint Gambian stall of Jane Creation and Jollof Look are among the traders hoping for a successful exhibition.
We think from today, many people will come in and see the wonderful things which are being offered here. they can tell their friends and their families, and this place will be a good, lucky place.
I'm so excited to be part of here. Yeah, last trade fair, I was here.
It marks the official opening of what seems to be a symbolic trade fair between the Gambia and Nigeria. During this period, goods made in the Gambia and Nigeria will be on display here at the trade fair in efforts towards boosting trade between the two countries, as well as promote trade within Africa. Rohi Bitey, GRTS.
Now, Destination Gambia is all set for a new holiday winter break, opening the country for travelers. The first batch of tourists jetted into Destination Gambia on Friday as officials welcome the 2022-2023 holiday season, attracting holiday makers from around the world. The prospects of a difficult winter amid war and a spiking gas cost could drive a scores of holiday makers to the country's source, and officials have been touring global markets to promote travel to the Smiling Coast. As always, the Scandinavians opened the winter break with Corindon making a graceful landing at the Banjul International Airport this afternoon. Let's hear more from the Director of Marketing at GT Board, Mr. Adamanjai, in this excerpt.
This is the beginning of our tourism season for 2022-2023, and as you are aware, that UK is our main market. And by having 164 passengers on board the flight to the Smiling Coast, it speaks a lot. And there are some more coming. For us as a board and as a ministry, we are very, very optimistic about this season. Today is 14th of October. I cannot remember the last time we had any flight that comes earlier than 14. So this is the first time, and you know, the signs are very good. Like I said, the ministry, the board of directors, the GT board, the DG is, he's a number one marketer anyway, so you can imagine. But like I said, we're doing what I'm mandated to do, and the whole country will see a difference, because for us, we live with tourism, and when tourism starts, you see everybody having a smile. Everybody has a smile.
What do we have in store for tourists coming into the Gambia?
We have a lot to offer. I think when you talk about the Smiling Coast, and our unique selling proposition ranges from leisure, ranges from conferencing, ranges even from excursion, a lot of things, to be honest, even nature, because if you look at our niche products now, you consider, the River Gambia is actually on top. So there are so many things that people can come and do here, in terms of surfing, golfing, you name it. But like I said, the country has a unique products, and we're here to say it with the whole world that the Smiling Coast of Africa has opened its doors for all visitors. We have just started with the Gambia experience, and on Sunday we'll have Corendon from Holland, and the list goes on and on and on. So just watch out, somewhat.
That was Adamanjai, the Director of Marketing at GT Board, speaking about the maiden tourist flight of the 2022-2023 season. Now, the Ministry of Health, through the Directorate of Public Health Services, has installed a brand new incinerator at the Regional Health Bureau in Mansakonko Lower River region. The environmentally friendly machine, supported by the World Bank, is meant to control and effectively manage clinical waste from health facilities. The activity also witnessed a special training for operators and supervisors on ways to operate the apparatus. Usman Balde has more in this report.
As part of efforts to improve the management of health waste, the Directorate of Public Health Services of the Ministry of Health has installed an incinerator at the Regional Health Directorate in Mansakonko. The machine will be used to burn needles and vials collected from various health facilities across the region. According to health officials, the machine will help reduce the risk of health workers contracting diseases as a result of contaminated health waste.
And the only safe way we can dispose them is through incineration, because breaking and the needles that have been used, we've been trying to avoid, because it can lead to some infectious diseases like HIV, hepatitis B. And with this machine that we have installed here to incinerate all this will help us prevent the infection of those diseases. Here what we're preventing is preventing the health workers and everybody who goes to the facilities, because if they are not managed well, Anybody going to the facility is not safe, and anybody who has access to them will not be safe. So the best thing to help improve our infection control is to have the sodas. When these needles are put in the safety boxes, those safety boxes will be stored properly and then be transported safely to the region here and then finally incinerated in the region here.
Cherno Jalo of the Ministry of Health explained that similar machines are installed in all the 7 health regions across the country.
So we in Masakonko, we trained operators and supervisors on how to operate the machine yesterday, and today was the launching and burning process so that they can see how the machine works. And all these 12 participants were on ground yesterday during the training, and today again they were here during the burning process.
He called on the trained operators to ensure safe and proper utilization of the machine.
We expect them to make sure all the safety boxes are collected from the facilities, come to the back to the region. There's a store where the machine is installed. There's a 40-piece container that is used as a storage facility. That's where they store the safety boxes and burn the safety boxes batch by batch, 25 batch per burning. You can burn 200 safety boxes within 4 hours. So we expect the regional director and the RPHs to support us, make sure all the safety boxes are brought to the region where the machine is stationed and they burn the safety boxes.
In addition to its environmental friendly nature, health officials are hopeful that the machine will also contribute to the cleanliness and safety of health facilities by reducing waste and environmental pollution. Usman Balde, GRTS.
The governor of the Upper River region and his technical team concluded engagement meetings with local authorities and farmers discussing pressing issues affecting the region. As Saidu Kamara reports, Governor Ba was accompanied by top security officials, civil servants and other relevant authorities in the region.
Frank discussion between regional authorities, district chiefs and alcalos as the governor crisscrossed the region to interact with farmers and community leaders. It was also a unique opportunity to hear from women and young people, noting their concerns as the country approaches the end of the rain season. In Woolly East and West, community leaders highlighted their challenges, such as lack of good road network between communities and other developments, whilst commending the government for the achievements in the region. Governor Sambaba expressed satisfaction for the tour, noting the people have manifested their appreciation in the development registered across the Upper River region.
In as much as we are in the rainy season and we are now about to get out of the rainy season, it's important to dialogue with the people and know how far is the rainy season and what are the expectations as far as the rainy season is concerned. And I am so overwhelmed that definitely this year we are expecting a bumper harvest, though they express some of their challenges with regards to fertilizer and other things. But I think during the discussion, we were able to discuss frankly, and in fact, they understand what were the challenges surrounding the fertilizer issue.
Governor Bass said the tour was an opportunity to understand challenges affecting lives and livelihoods of the people.
Electricity being a problem in Upper River region, because when you look at it, particularly in the northern side of the region, there are only few villages that are privileged to have electricity. But I was able to give them the assurance that the government of the Gambia, through the president and through NAWEC, they are going to make sure that at least electricity is supplied before 2025. And even some communities are going to get it before the end of 2023.
The Upper River Region Police Commissioner Famara Jallo cautioned people to distance themselves from all forms of activities that will jeopardize the peace and stability in the country, adding that citizens and residents in the Gambia should jealously safeguard the peace the country enjoys, and the security will not compromise anything to maintain stability.
The law is here to decide. If you think that you are not treated fairly, go to the courts. This is all what you can do, but you cannot take the law into your own hands. If you check in the Gambia here, foreigners is almost half of the Gambian people, and some of them definitely would always try to make sure that there is problem, because it's only as a result of that they can take something and go. They will destroy you and they destroy your country. Whilst you are here, is this you want for your country?
The tour wrap up in Sandu, where various speakers, including women farmers, youth, alcalos, and chiefs, highlighted common challenges at the meeting. Authorities reminded people that democracy is about respecting the laws of the country and urged communities to desist from any activities that will provoke dissent in the country.
His Excellency the President, I told them, is going to give them the maximum democracy that the Gambia needs, because he has the will, he has the it's in him, and then he has the vision, and also he has the support from the government in making sure that that dream is realized. Democracy is not about insulting people. Democracy is not about castigating people. Democracy is not about saying something that is unfounded. Democracy is healthy. So therefore, whatever we discuss, whatever we do must be also healthy. Let it be for the development of the people.
At the delegation last spot, Sarah Dembatoro in the Sandu district, similar meetings were held with elders renewing their commitment to supporting authorities and security forces in their fight against crime.
If you hear the people that we're serving saying good things about several institutions, it's because the institutions are committed to the leadership of the governor. If that messages are being said to us or information is being shared to us, it is our responsibility to understand that they are putting more challenges on us as people who are serving them, to remain committed and work hard to do better than we have done. So it is commendable for all institutions that are in the region.
The URL government renewed government's commitment to empowering women in all areas of development, including health, education, agriculture, while security officials commended communities for complementing their work and called for more collaboration and partnership to combat crime and other criminal activities in the area. Sedu Kamara, reporting for GRTS News from Basse Upper River Region.
You're watching GRTS News and I am Esa Sow. Time now for a look at the day's weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office. That was the day's weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office. We will take a quick break. When we return, we will look at news beyond our borders. Do stay. The Tanzanian Ministry of Agriculture remains opposed to the use of biotech chemicals in food production. The country is adopting stronger measures against genetically modified foods. Details of that in this report.
Tanzania has long been skeptical of genetically modified crops. The government has health and safety concerns and aims to protect its smallholder farmers who account for the vast majority of its agricultural producers. But neighboring country Kenya has lifted a ban on GMO food production. Due to Kenya's food security challenges, GMO crops are now seen as a way to unlock food supply and ease hunger for millions of people in the country.
They compared with what they need. They looked at issues of climate change because you have much less land that can produce what you need. You also have the challenge of you need drought-resistant crops, and you have also biological stresses such as insects, pests, etc. to your crops, growing populations, growing youth populations, childhood malnutrition, and they figured maybe if they add this arm to the agricultural sector, it can improve, and let's see.
Tanzania says it's sticking to organic agriculture instead of genetically modified organisms methods in order to minimize the effects of climate change. But scientists say GMO farming is not inherently environmentally unfriendly. Despite Tanzania's approach, agricultural trade experts say Kenya's decision might affect the whole region.
And our borders are very porous. In a way, we cannot stop maize from Kenya coming to Tanzania. There is no way. As you're speaking right now, there are a lot of maize going to Kenya which are being done informally. And we expect the same way it will be done from Kenya to Tanzania. And since their maize will be very cheap, and as you know, farmers, they're always looking for cheaper things. Farmers, all citizens are looking for to reduce the cost of living. So in any way, the maize from Kenya will come to Tanzania.
Biotech experts say, despite the concerns, careful measures are taken before a country allows the use of GMO agriculture.
When people work on GM crops, etc., or GM foods, as you like to say, they go through a process of regulation. So it's not a wild, wild west where anyone can just decide to clone whatever they want and plant it. No, you have, even in Tanzania, you have a whole national biosafety framework. And it has a process about how to get permits, and they go through what gene you want to put in, history of that gene, the potential side effects of that gene, and the even criteria that if the gene is known historically to have allergic reactions in you, it's usually a no-no.
In 2021, Tanzania's government cancelled research trials involving genetically modified organisms. Instead, it put in place tighter scrutiny of improved genetically modified seeds. Authorities here say they are closely monitoring Kenya's decision to allow GMO foods, but they insist that it has no effect on Tanzania. It's not yet clear what extra measures the government will take to prevent GMO crops from entering the country. Daniel Kijo, CGTN, Dar es Salaam.
Now, embattled British Prime Minister Liz Truss on Friday announced another drastic U-turn to her tax-slashing mini-budget last month, which prompted market turmoil, vowing to raise corporation tax after all. Hours after sacking her finance minister and stating the need to act now to reassure the markets, Truss said, "I have therefore decided to keep the increase in corporation tax that was planned by the previous government." Here is an excerpt.
But it is clear that parts of our mini-budget went further and faster than markets were expecting. So the way we are delivering our mission right now has to change. We need to act now to reassure the markets of our fiscal discipline. I have therefore decided to keep the increase in corporation tax that was planned by the previous government.
Well, with that, we'll end this edition of the news over GRTS. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. The Gambia government has launched a broad-based commission of inquiry into Aki deaths as President Barrow summons an emergency cabinet meeting to tackle the outbreak of acute kidney injury in the Gambia. His Excellency President Adama Barrow received the Executive Committee of the Gambia Football Federation, led by its President Lamin Kaba Bajo, at a State House. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, through the World Bank-funded Giraffe Project, handed over 50 motorcycles and office stationery to the Department of Agriculture. And the first batch of tourists jetted into destination Gambia as officials welcome a new holiday season and winter break on the Smiling Coast. Away from home, Tanzania is saying no to genetically modified crops due to health and safety concerns. Plus, UK's Prime Minister Liz Truss said her government will take a U-turn on cuts and raise corporation tax. Well, viewers, that was all we had for you in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and do stay tuned to GRTS.